Every film reaches a moment where the question changes. Not, can I make this film? But, should I keep trying to make this film alone? This week, I'm looking for a producer. Not somebody to come and rescue the film or to finance it, because one way or the other, I'm going to find the funds and the finance to make this film. But I'm looking for somebody who can join the team, to strengthen the team, to support with the story, and to bring the much needed experience that a producer would bring to a project like this. Somebody who can look back at what we've already created with Stolen Dreams 1 and Stolen Dreams Redemption, who believes in a message, and who wants to help us elevate the story to bigger and better heights. Somebody who wants to be a part of legacy.
Sometimes the problem is obvious. A tire loses pressure, something isn't working. You stop, fix it, and keep moving. Simple. But the harder question is this: what if you could see the problem before they happen? Before the pressure drops? Before the journey slows down? Before something small becomes something expensive? Would you invest time to prepare? Even if it means slowing down the journey to move better later. Because sometimes the smartest move isn't fixing the problem. It's building the conditions where the problem never happens.
On my way to Crystal Palace Park, which is one of my favourite reflection spots where I get a lot of thinking done. It's my first time on a bike in a hot while, and the fitness levels are not where they need to be to tackle some of the hills in Crystal Palace. For those that know the area, you can imagine how difficult some of the steeps are. So I need to improve the fitness, strengthen the quads, and then eventually I'm going to give it another crack. But for now, I have to go the old-fashioned way, man. I have to walk up this hill one step at a time.
Sometimes the journey feels exactly like this. Heavy, slower than expected, every push asking a little more of me. And when I'm in the middle of it, there's no applause, there's no audience, just me, the road in front of me, and the quiet question in the back of my mind: is making this film actually worth it? So this is a message for my future self. Remember this moment. Remember the effort it took to keep going when things felt uncertain. The early mornings before everyone else woke up, the late nights trying to solve problems that didn't have easy answers. The time away, the financial pressure, and the responsibility of carrying a story that I believe deserves to exist. Because the truth is, meaningful films aren't built in comfort. They're built in persistence, in showing up again and again when the outcome is still unclear. I've learned that filmmaking isn't about just writing scenes and directing scenes. It's about endurance, about the difficult decisions, about continuing the path when it's not obvious. So if I ever watch this back in the future when the film is finished, I want to remember what it took to get there. The climb, the effort, the commitment to keep moving forward. Because the struggle was never the obstacle. It was the proof that I cared enough to keep going. For the first 2 films, I did a lot myself. Writing, producing, directing, casting, location scouting, set design, organizing, creating a call sheet, scheduling, and payroll. Even down to the moments where you're sourcing food for everybody to eat. At the time, it felt necessary. Independent filmmaking often begins that way. You carry whatever the film needs. But somewhere between finishing Stolen Dreams Redemption and writing Stolen Dreams Legacy, I started recognizing something. Just because you can do everything, it doesn't mean that you should. So this week I started researching producers, looking at films with similar scale, similar tone, similar ambition. So then I decided to reopen my IMDb Pro account. This becomes a window into some of the key players within the industry. You start scrolling through credits, names of people who have done this work for years. People who know how to navigate problems that you haven't even discovered yet. And the question quietly sits there. Would someone like that even respond to me at this stage? Reaching out is an interesting moment. It forces you to confront your own pride, because independence can slowly turn into isolation. You tell yourself you're protecting your vision, but sometimes you're just protecting control, and control can become limitations.
All right. Question. Why do you want to do public speaking?
One thing I often teach young people when I do my public speaking workshops and training is that finding your voice isn't about volume. It's about courage. The courage to say what you believe. The courage to stand up and be seen. But there's another part we don't talk about enough. Using your voice also means being able and willing to listen, to challenge your own thinking, to accept that someone else's experience might strengthen your message. And filmmaking is no different. A good producer doesn't silence the story, they sharpen it. They see the risks before they become problems. They ask questions that make the work stronger. And that's what I'm looking for. When you reach out, it's important to manage your expectations. Not expecting immediate responses, not expecting any response, not expecting an easy conversation, not expecting people to care about your project the same way you do. This is just part of the process. So right now, I'm at the start of that process, because building something meaningful rarely happens in isolation. It happens when the right people decide the story is worth building together. There's a certain vulnerability in reaching out, inviting someone into something you've been carrying alone for a long time. And I've been carrying Stolen Dreams for the last 2 years. A lot of that weight constantly on my mind, from Stolen Dreams 1 to Redemption to the ongoing work to push this story to bigger audiences. Sharing the responsibility, sharing the decisions, sharing the risk. But if legacy is going to reach the level I believe it deserves, then the team has to grow. Finding the right people will not be easy, but I believe in the project. And the aim now is to find somebody that also believes in it. But nothing great happens in isolation, and that's the message that I keep telling myself. So I'm putting this out there to the community. If you know a producer, if you are a producer, please make the connection, please contact me, because I believe we've got fantastic work to do together. So the search continues, and next week I share the current draft of the script with the returning cast members for the first time. Something that I'm looking forward to. See you next week.